This was all shot with Ninja 5 using 10-bit and Canon Eos R, mainly on 16 to 35 2.8 second generation. My first impressions, holy crap. What's up guys, I hope you like the videos I just showed you at the beginning. This was all shot with Ninja 5 using 10-bit and Canon EOS R, mainly on 16 to 35 2.8 second generation. My first impressions, holy crap. This screen actually works. It's insane. First of all, let me show you what's inside of the box. So you just get basically the screen and the battery and the chargers and the cable, stuff like that. Other than that, if you just get in the regular version, you have to get a hard drive and you have to get HDMI cable and some kind of adapter or a dongle to actually read your data out of the hard drive to the computer. So I've got this. This was like $8 or 12 on Amazon, and I've got the hard drive separate from the Atomos Ninja 5 because it's cheaper that way. I bought a 500 WD SATA SSD. And it works just fine. That way, I only paid $70 for the hard drive and $600 for the Atomos. And if you buy it as a bundle, it's more expensive. So this works pretty well. And the way you take out the footage is basically plug and play. You just connect this cable here and plug in as a regular USB to your computer, and you're good to go. So the coolest thing probably about this is basically that you can play back the video straight up from the monitor. So plug in the battery, turn it on. Since you record directly on the monitor, you don't have to have anything connected to the monitor to play back the footage. So like right now, I can just press and play, and my video that I recorded just playing straight from the monitor itself. I don't have it connected to anything because basically this is your SSD card. So I think this is pretty cool. It adds so much quality to your videos. It's crazy. I got so much more dynamic range and it's just so much more fun to use. The only thing is it's kind of hectic because you have to connect it to something, and I was shooting on a gimbal. So this was my setup. I had a Zion Crane 2. I mounted the monitor to the arm here with just a regular screw that comes from the Joby tripod, and it fits just fine. I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but this was just my quick walk around and it works just fine for me. So basically I had it like this, and it kind of sucks because this becomes a bigger setup, but the quality you get out of it is crazy. I had my camera connected to the gimbal, and this becomes kind of hectic. Let me know in the comments if you know any better way to do this, because it kind of sucks. Maybe because mainly I had a too big of the HDMI cable, and I would not recommend to get such a big cable. I had to balance it with the HDMI cable on it because the cable is kind of heavy, but I'm not going to go through the whole balancing process right now. I'm just going to connect it to show you how I shot it and how was the setup looking. So basically I had it like this, and I had it connected to the in port of the HDMI, and you can also have the HDMI out. So let's say if you have a bigger TV or whatever, you can output the HDMI and the picture to the bigger monitor, right? So this is how I was shooting it, and it was kind of hard for me because you get all these wires and the stabilizer would not always work properly. But overall it's fine, and I'm sure there's a better mount for the monitor, but this way it worked fine for me. All you got to do is go to the settings on your EOS R, and where it says Canon log, you just pick 10-bit, and basically now the image goes to the SSD and writes all your videos there. You don't even have to have an SD card. Like right now I have no SD card, and it's just fine because it's basically writing it to the actual SSD. So this is it right there, and man, I really love this thing. The quality you get out of it is nuts. I'm gonna show you the shots I took with the monitor and without, and I'm gonna let you guess which one was which. That's actually one thing that I don't like about the screen, that you can only record 4K 30 frames per second. That's it. 10-bit, 4K, 1030, crap. You stuck with it. You can't do slow motion. You cannot do 1080. You cannot do 24 frames per second. You cannot do 60 frames per second. I don't know why, but you only stuck with 30p. So I exported this video for the purpose of comparing and getting actual quality out of this in 4K, 30 frames per second. And it's basically Canon crap. So, I mean, you get the extra dynamic range. The files are huge. For example, 17-second video was like 2 gigs. And then I get a 20 gig file out of like a 2-minute video. That's insane. That files are crazy big. But again, if you get an SSD drive with it, you're gonna be able to fit more files in here. And also, I was kind of like, when I was recording, I was thinking, should I record this shot or not? Because I was like, man, my 500 SSD gonna fill up like in 10 minutes basically. So that's the downside of this. It's a big of a setup. You can't just pop a camera and shoot it. It's expensive. You add in another $700 to it. It is only limited to 4K 30 frames per second and cropped, but obviously you get benefits, which is high dynamic range, and as you saw, the image is freaking beautiful. I was not expecting I could get an image like this from my Canon Eos R. This is more like a cinema camera. This is like a mini C200 basically, with the dynamic range you get, and the image just looked beautiful. Wow. What I like about this monitor also is all the settings you get here. You can bring up a lot of your graphs in here, like waveforms, scopes, anything you want, the zebras. This is very helpful because the camera doesn't really offer this. So for example, I have histogram here, or I can bring my zebras, waveforms, like I said. A lot of different settings that your camera just doesn't have. These are basically like built-in tools that you get in Premiere. But when you shoot, for example, like this here, the zebras is very helpful. I wish the camera itself would allow to have this in its own menus, but unfortunately it doesn't. But using this monitor, you can utilize these tools, and that way you can expose your images properly, which is very helpful. Would I recommend this product to you? Yeah, I think I would. If you're running a film production company, or you're doing films often, whatever you are into, short films, cinematic films, travel films, weddings, anything you're shooting, and you're doing this full time, and you're in need in better dynamic range because it is way better than, for example, 8-bit, I would totally recommend it. And if you're okay with carrying such a setup, and if you're a professional, you're already used to this, it's great. Plus the monitor is very bright, and like I said, you can just play back the files without having it connected to the camera, which is pretty cool. You can just literally unplug the monitor fast, and let's say show your client the video like right there. Like you can just impress your client and be like, hey, let me show you this video, unplug this, and be like, you know what, let me show you real close. And I mean, this takes a second, so you have it out, right, and there you go. You can just press play, and you go through the videos like right there from the menu. You go previous, whatever the video you go to, you can play back. And it's also cool because, like, let's say I have the zebras on right now, and it's showing me the zebras right there in the playback, what was overexposed or not. I'm super impressed actually. I was not expecting this to be that good. I'm gonna make sure to leave the links to the products under the description so you can check them out on Amazon, and if you'd like you can purchase. Anyways, hope you guys liked the video, you got something out of it, you got some useful information. Comment below if you know a better way to set this up, because my setup is just way too heavy and I kind of don't like it, but I like the monitor and I would love to use it more often. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification button, and I'm gonna leave you with some more videos with the bikes because they were freaking too badass. Oh yeah. Peace.